Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Andrew, and today we're going to continue our video series about rental real estate and how to manage your portfolio in QuickBooks. This is going to be part 11 of our series. If you haven't done so already, I recommend checking out the other parts to help you get started. Today I'm going to go over writing a check and actually having some expenses. Typically, before you ever buy a property, you will have some setup costs like legal. You might have some retainers, and you might have some bank fees or office supplies. So I'm going to go over that today, and let's jump into it. So most of us don't write checks any longer, but that's how QuickBooks records purchases that have come from your bank account. So if you make a purchase with a debit card, if you make a purchase with a check, it's the same thing. And anytime you're spending cash from your checking account, we're going to want to use the same function. It could be cash, debit card, or check. And that function in QuickBooks is the write check window. And I get there by using the shortcut key combination of Control and then W. W stands for write. But you can also get there, if you like, with the menu by going to Banking and then selecting the first option, which is Write Checks. If you want to get really fancy, you could also put a link in the Quick Launch bar by going to the Customize icon bar and then going from there. I take that back. I wonder if you can do that. I don't usually use this bar very often, so I'm sorry you can't do it that way. Forgive me. So Banking or Control W. I always maximize my window to see the most amount of real estate possible. First thing we're going to want to check is that our bank account is correct, and if you've got multiple bank accounts, you'll want to ensure this every time. I'm going to use Tab to move between the fields. I'm going to make sure that the date is correct, which it is, and then who do I want to make this out to? I'm just going to start typing. So I'm going to say that I paid for an LLC to be set up. I paid for this LLC, Urban Rentals LLC, to be set up for me, and I paid an attorney to do that. So I'm going to pay that firm, and I'm going to borrow a name from Car Talk, and that is do we cheat them and how? But do we cheat them and how? And I don't know. That could be good enough for a name. And like previously, you'll notice that QuickBooks doesn't know who this is. It says, you got to help me out here. I don't know who this person or this entity is. So I always like to go to Setup, but for now we're just going to do Quick Add for the purposes of this video, and I will do another video on a detailed setup of a vendor. So we're going to go Quick Add, and I'm going to select vendor. This is definitely a vendor. We're paying someone to do something. It's not a customer, it's not an employee, and it's not an other. We've gone over others. Those are generally members of the LLC. So let's hit OK, and my LLC cost me $500. I'm just using Tab. I got down here to this memo line. Now most people will write a memo like setup of Urban Rentals LLC. But keep in mind that just like a physical check, this memo goes to the recipient or the vendor. So if you were going to print checks from QuickBooks, which I recommend, this memo would be seen on the printed check. So that has no relevance to our purposes. On our side, internally, it means nothing. So I always just leave that blank, or I put an account number or an invoice number, and we're going to say that invoice number 451. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Next, we want to come down here to our expense window, this field here where we have columns and rows, and in each row we can split this amount to different accounts if we like, but for now we should have a legal or professional fees. There it is. So professional fees, we're going to put this into professional fees. We can write a memo to ourselves now. This is internally, so we can look back at this later. And I always recommend to be as detailed as possible and to be thorough with your memos. A little bit of time now saves a lot of bit of time later. So I'm just going to put setup of Urban Rentals LLC. I'm going to leave it at that. You can be more or less detailed if you'd like, but I recommend to always put a memo in here no matter what, just so you can come back and help jog your memory. Customer job, we're going to ignore that, and that's it. We're going to hit save and close, or alternatively, if you don't want to use the mouse, just hit escape and enter. And now we can see that if we go to our chart of accounts, our checking account, it has a balance that is $500 less than what we started. If you remember, we started with $35,000. And that has gone to our vendor, who is now in our vendor center, Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, and we can see that we paid them a check of $500. So pretty simple. We'll get into some advanced stuff later, but for those of you who just want to hit the ground running, hopefully that helps clear some things up for you. Like the channel, like this video, support the channel, subscribe to get these videos come to you, and leave me a comment. Let me know how I did, and if there's something that's unclear for you, or if you have a specific issue, send me an email or leave me a comment, and I'll try to do a video with your problem. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.